Good morning, this is your maths lesson for today. We're going to be looking at fractions again, and today specifically looking at multiplying fractions by integers, by whole numbers basically. I'm going to take you through the PowerPoint today, and there's going to be times for you to pause the video, to try out questions, and then we're going to look at the worksheet itself, and then we're going to do it in little bits at a time. So please do as you're told during the video and pause the video when instructed. Try the questions yourself on pencil and paper, and then start the video again to see how you did with each time. And then, as I say, you'll be times to trying on the worksheet as well. First thing to try is the warm-up questions. So here we go. Those are the questions there, but they're on your worksheet as well. So I'd like you to take a moment to try those. One little quick word of advice: be on the lookout for opportunities to simplify, and of course anything that's improper, convert that to mixed number if you can. Alright, so pause the video now and have a try. Okay, so I assume if you're watching this now, you've tried those questions yourselves. So let's see what we had. So we had a sixth, plus another sixth, plus another sixth, plus another sixth. So, and then essentially we end up with 4 sixths. This just as a heads up for what's coming. So you actually had a sixth, and you had 4 lots of them. Or you could say 4 times 1/6. Either way, it comes to the same result. Now, 4 sixths, they're both even numbers. So actually, we could simplify this fraction. If you divide both of them by 2, we get 2/3, and that's as far as we can go. For the second question, let's have a look. We've got 2/3, 2/3, and 2/3. As I've said, this is a good heads up for what's coming. This is basically the same as saying, well, 2/3 times 1, 2, 3. So we're timesing by 3. Well, 2 times 3, if we take the numerator first, 2 times 3 is 6, but we're still in thirds. Because if you see, put my equal sign in there. If you see at the beginning, we've got 2/3, add another 2/3, add another 2/3. So in the total, you'll end up with 6/3. Now, what do you notice about 6/3? This is an improper fraction. So of course, we should convert that back. What is 6 divided by 3? The answer, of course, is 2. So you end up with actually 2 wholes. All right, the third question. 2/7 plus 2/7 plus 2/7 is 6/7. 2 add 2 add 2 is 6, and we stay in the sevenths. 6/7. All right, so let's move on to what we're actually learning today. So there are 3 flowers in a vase. If there are 4 vases, how many flowers would there be? So quickly pause the video now and have a try at that one yourselves. All right, let's take a look. 3 flowers times 4. So of course you've got 12 flowers. 3 times 4 is 12. All right, let's try this one. There are 3 pencils in a pot. Now if there are 4 pots, how many pencils would there be? So pause the video again, quickly get your answer down, and then press play again when you're ready. Okay, if you're watching now, you've had the try yourself. So we've got 3 pencils times 4, we end up with 12. All right, same thing, but not the same, but it is the same. Each person gets 3/4 of a cake. If there are 4 people, how much cake would be needed? Okay, so there's our 4 people. They've all got 3/4 of a cake each. So how much? Pause the video quickly, have a try. How many quarters are you going to end up with? So we've got 3 times 4, 3/4. Each time there are 3/4, 1, 2, and 3. And we're timesing by 4 because we've got 4 pieces of four whole cakes. So 3 times 4 is 12 quarters. You could count them up if you wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 quarters is what we end up with. So that's what that would look like in an arithmetic sense. 3 times 4. See, all we're doing really is just timesing the numerator. The quarters stays the same, but the numerator, 3 times 4, is 12. So we end up with 12 quarters. But 12 quarters, of course, is an irregular fraction. So we would then try and convert this. So 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3. Moving on. So different question now. 3/7 times 4. So there on that bar model, you've got 3/7 because 3 out of 7 has been shaded. So you've got 3/7 and you're going to multiply it by 4. So you've got the arithmetic version here. 3/7 times 4. Think about what we just did. What do you think the answer is going to be? Pause the video and just come up with an answer for that last one, and then press for this one that we're doing, sorry, and then press play when you're ready. Okay, let's see how you did. So if we were to take that into the bar model sense, there's our 4 lots. So we've got 3/7 in each, but we've got 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4 lots of 3/7. Well, as I said before, we keep the sevenths the same because that's how many sevenths we have, but we just do 3 times 4, and of course we're going to end up with 12/7. Okay, so 12/7, but this is an irregular fraction. Now, if we move the bar, you can move the bar model around if you like that kind of thing. So now we end up with that. Or we'll stick to what we've been taught, what we've been looking at, which of course is to use division. 12 divide by 7. How many groups of 7 can you get into 12? You can get 1 group, and there's going to be 5 left over. 5/7 left over, which is exactly the same as you've ended up with here. You've ended up with a 1 and 5/7 left over. Okay, it's time to have a go at questions 1 to 3. So let's go and have a look at the worksheet itself. All right, let's see. So yeah, 2/7 times 2. We should be able to do that. It's even showing you on that pie chart how many sevenths that would be. 3 times 3/10. So they've got this number line to try and help you with question B. For question 2A, use the pencil and the shading tool. So if you what's probably a good idea, make it transparent. Choose something a bit thicker. Shade the bar model to show 2/5 times 4. So this one's going to be 2/5. This one's going to be 2/5, and so on. And then B, complete the multiplication. So what is 2/5 times 4? How many fifths do you end up with in the end? And then do you at all need to convert that to mixed number? Question 3 was the last one we were asked to do. Are these straightforward arithmetic? So let me put one example on here for you that I will leave behind. So 1/3 times 1. So that would be 1 times 1, of course, is 1. Keep our thirds. 1/3 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And thirds. Times 3. 1 times the 3 is, of course, 3. And the thirds stay the same. So we could say it's 3/3, or we could say it's 1, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'll let you try and finish off the rest. You're going to probably end up with mixed number throughout, and then try B yourselves. And then when you're finished, obviously you're going to unpause the video again. So we'll go back to the presentation together to get you ready for questions 4 to the rest of the worksheet. So pause the video now and have a try at questions 1, 2, and 3. So let me just take you back. There you go. Sorry, pause the video now for me, please. Okay, if you're watching the video now, I'll assume that you have finished questions 1 to 3. All right, so let's have a look together for how you're going to carry on. So what we've been looking at so far is obviously just what happens when you're doing things like 2/6 times 3, or when it's 3/5 times 4, that kind of thing. So just a fraction times a whole number. What we're going to look at now, though, is what happens when it's a mixed number times a whole number. So for this example, we're going to use 3.5. So instead of just half times 3, we're going to do 3.5 times 3. So from here on in, you're always going to have a choice of 2 methods. So let's look at the first one. Very much actually the same as when you were doing adding fractions, the choice of methods. So here's 3, and here's half. Obviously, the 3 itself has been divided into halves because we're working in halves. So 3.5 times 3. So we have a choice. We can show what that looks like. We've got 3 lots of 3. So we could, first of all, we could basically multiply the whole number. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then we can just keep that in mind. 3 times 3 is 9. And then what's 3 times a half? So a half times 3. So the 1 times 3 is 3. So you end up with 3 halves. But of course, 3 halves is an improper fraction. So we need to convert that back into mixed number. 3 halves, of course, is 1.5. And then add our 9 to that. 9 plus the 1.5 becomes 10.5. So that's one way. Just so that what that was again in pure arithmetic, what we did first, so we had, let's see, so we had 3.5 times 3. So the first thing we did was multiply the whole number. So 3 times 3 was 9. And then we did 3 times a half, which was this bit here. 1 times 3 was 3. The halves stay the same. We ended up with 3 halves. 3 halves gets converted back to mixed number. That becomes 1.5. And we add it to the 9. So 9 plus 1.5 was 10.5. Okay. The other way is so that was your first method. The second method is convert to improper fraction. So if you look at this, how many halves do you have? Now it's easy with the bar model. Of course, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You've got 7 halves. For arithmetic, you would of course do 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 1 is 7, and you end up with 7 halves. So instead of the top method here, we can do 7 halves times 3. And now it's very much the same as what you were doing before. So 7 times 3 first. 7 threes, of course, are 21. But you're still in halves. So you end up with 21 halves. This is improper. So your next job, of course, is just to convert back. So you could do 21 halves, convert this back by using division. 21 divided by 2. Well, I can get 10 times 2 is 20. So that means I'm going to end up with 10 groups, and there'll be 1 left over. So 10 remainder 1 becomes 10, and then the 1 left over, but we're still in halves. So 10.5. And of course, that's the same answer as what we had before. So both methods lead to the same answer, but the choice is up to you as to which one you prefer. So we're going to try this one as well in this exact same way. So what I'd like you to do, you're going to pause the video in a second, and you can try whichever method you prefer. So if you want, you can do 4 times 6, remember that answer, and then do a fifth times 6, and then add them together. Or you can do convert to improper first. 4 times 5, add 1, times that by 6, and then convert back to mixed number. So pause the video now and have a try at that. Okay, if you're watching this now and you've had a try, so let's go through both methods. But first, we'll do the whole number version first. So 4 times 6, of course, is 24. We'll keep that there, and we'll remember that for later. Then we do a fifth times 6. So 1 times 6 is 6. So we end up with 6 fifths. 6 fifths is improper, so we have to convert back. And we end up with 1 and a fifth. And now we just have to add both of those together. And we end up with 25 and 1/5. So if you did it that way and that's the answer you got, then that's fine. Alternatively, the other method is to convert to improper first. So 4 times 5 is 20, and add the 1 is 21. So 4 and a fifth is the same as 21 fifths, and now we're timesing by 6. So 21 times 6. So if you wanted to, of course, you'd be more than welcome to do 21 times 6 and work it out that way, and you'd end up with 126 fifths. This, of course, can't be your final answer, so you'd need to then maybe do, if you wanted, you could use division to figure this one out. So you'd end up with 12, and then so on, and then 2, carry the 2, and so on, and so on, and so on, until eventually you end up with 25, an answer of 25 and a remainder of 1. And that's how that looks. It comes out as 25 and a fifth, again, as your final answer. So whichever method you went down, you do get to the same answer. All right, so it's time to go back to our worksheet now. Discard that. Again, as always, guys, feel free to repeat that, go over that as often as you like, those 2 examples there of the methods available to you. So you've got question 4 to complete first. Complete the multiplication, 2 and 2/5. So now we've got a mixed number times 3. It's been shown to you in a bar model. How would you get there? So it's up to you which method you choose. Do you want to do the 3 times 2 first, and then work out what 2/5 times 3 is, and then add it together? Or do you want to convert 2 and 2/5 into improper, times it by 3, and then divide back to get back to mixed number? So that's question 4. When you get on to question 5, the advice I'm going to give you is to do all of the questions first, so before you match them. I'm going to cheat a little bit here just for the sake of an example. So 2/3, add 2/3, of course, that's 4/3, which is the same as 1 and 1/3. So that's the answer to that one. I would work out literally the answer to all of these. So whatever that is, work out that, work out that, work out that, and write them down next to them. So work out all of the other ones, and then all you have to do is draw a line to say which one matches. Now, as I say, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I've seen the answers, but obviously for the sake of a video. So 1/3 times 4. So, well, 1 times 4 is 4. I keep my thirds. 4/3, which is also the same as 1 and 1/3. Aha. So those 2 match. So let's draw my line to keep them that way. As I said, you need to I would recommend work out all the others, and then it's easy after that. Just draw the lines to match. And if you can't find a match, then maybe it's possible that something has gone wrong with one of them, and you might need to try again. Question 6 is very much just sort of straightforward arithmetic. So use either of the methods that you've been shown. So, for example, with A, you could either do 1 times 2, and then a fifth times 2, and then add them together. Or you could convert 1 and a fifth into mixed number first, and then times it by 2, and then convert back to mixed number. Now, the crucial part to remember here, it just says in its simplest form. So when you get your answer, and I will leave that there actually, as a hopeful reminder. Simplest form. So when you get your answer, you need to ask yourself, if it was something like, I don't know, 2/6, well, they're both even numbers. Can you divide them by 2? Of course you can, and you'd end up with a third. So are the answers in the simplest form? Some of them might be, some of them might need simplifying, but that's for you to be on the lookout for. Question 7, using your knowledge that you've been using so far, can you work out the missing numbers? Keep an eye on maybe sort of the denominator at the end and then how that's going to help inform you. It's at the 7, so it's staying the same in that one. And with B, now the eighths has become halves, so obviously when it's gotten to the far end, that 7.5, that's obviously been simplified. So it's possible it was something an eighths before, and then it was simplified. So bear that in mind. 8 is a little worded problem. Tommy's dog eats 3.5 tins of food a week. How many tins does she eat in a year? I'll give you remind you that there are 52 weeks in a year. So you're going to need to do 3.5 times 52 to work that one out. Again, you can use either of the two methods you've been shown. And then lastly, you've got your challenge question. So have a go at this. I want everyone to try. It is tricky, I admit. You might want to do the working out here on the side or on a piece of paper and try and come up with an answer. When you've finished it, what I would like you to do is then go to the White Rose home learning site, not sit. Go to the where you need to be. So let's show you exactly where you need to be, in fact. So open up a fresh tab, Rose home learning, top answer, search result, year 6, and we want autumn week 11 number fractions. Scroll down and there's the video for today's lesson, but that I've done instead. But you will want the video, excuse me, from about there, 5 minutes 59. If you watch it from there, the narrator will give you an explanation as to how it could have been solved, and you can see how you did. Okay, so if you get stuck, you can always watch it and sort of get some clues and then finish it off. Or if you manage to solve it by yourself, you can see if you were right. Okay, so where was that? It was from 5 minutes, 9 seconds. All right. Obviously, guys, don't forget to save your work today. And I think that is everything. If you need anything else, please use the J2 message to talk to us, and we will talk to you then. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye-bye.